Hi everyone, my name is Cheong and I'm from University Malaysia Sabah. The titles that I would like to talk about is COVID-19, e-commerce on small and medium-sized enterprise in Sabah. Next, we move to see the introductions. International Labour Organizations sustaining competitive and responsible enterprise programs highlight the important fact that micro, small and medium-sized enterprise now matters more than ever. On facts alone, is the MSME contributes more than 70% of global employment and 50% of GDPs, and this cannot be overlooked. SME with their limited abilities to handle the risk and bear the cost because of the economic slowdown are also struggling with the difficulties of fund and liquidities, employer customers and adapting the technology overcoming the pandemics. Literature review. Government loans, micros, and SME agricultural companies are also able to benefit from the estimated financial loans of approximately $46 billion from different financial institutions. For instance, Bank Sabah Nationals increased its BSN microcredit ratings grant from $46 million to $161 million to assist COVID-19 impacted micro-sized companies at 0% interest. Government tax incentives has been shown to be effective in improving the efficiencies of administration SME. Furthermore, it is also recognized that other financial incentives such as allowance have improved the financial abilities of SME in the Malaysia's agricultural market. Next is methodology, as the purpose of this study is to investigate the impact of COVID-19 to business of offline and online. A few methodologies were explored to conduct the analysis, including the stage of digital adoptions among the SME, the analysis of causes and barriers for e-commerce adoptions, including its benefits, aims, the contents of COVID-19. The term e-commerce refers to a wide range of digital adoptions among the businesses. To differentiate the level of e-commerce adoptions, growth models based on the stage of growth concept, which recognize the varying degree of information systems, including the e-commerce among the organizations, was utilized by the researchers. There are four stages: model of presence, partial transactions integrations, and enterprise integrations to illustrate the evolutions of e-commerce in an organization each with its own characteristics. This four-stage model will be utilized to define the digital adoptions of SME involved in this study. Next, we see the data collections. The purpose of this study was to gain useful insights into the effect of e-commerce on SME as well as the perceptions of SME towards e-commerce. The research was performed through telephone interview with owners and managers of business from different areas with considerations of COVID-19 risks that exist in the community. 8 responses were interviewed with the snowball method sampling methods, while the recruitment criteria is set based on the definitions of the SME. SME is defined as a small and medium-sized enterprise with sales properties or employees that fall below a certain level. It is important to note that SME is described differently in each country. In Malaysia, a company is considered SME if it meets one of the two qualifications criteria for the revenue turnover or the full-time staff, which is lower for the service and others industry. Next, we move to see the findings. This study provides the result of the interview performed on each respondent. The findings are covering questions from various themes to obtain a detailed explanations or observations on the interview's perception toward the e-commerce. The Teams includes the four-stage model supports during the MCO. Most of the SME did not fully adopt e-commerce other than the social media because e-commerce platforms to them have a cost and other policies, in which case they would rather be using the social media instead of e-commerce platform. Social media have a low barriers of entry compared to an e-commerce platform, whereby the e-commerce platforms could have too strict of requirement or it will too complicated. Then the SMEs see the social media as the first e-commerce options to consider as they probably have tried it before. It is also a possibility that they might not have reached the conditions or situations that make it viable for them to adopt those platforms. Last but not least is conclusions. Research deliverable that's impacting on the academic, societies, industry, economics, and nations. There are limited study related to SME adoptions of e-commerce in developing the country, and this study will provide a landscape view of e-commerce adoption level among the SME. The following result of these investigations show this study is to able to provide an analysis of the impacts of the COVID-19 has on online and offline business, which could provide an indication of how much an online model would fare better against the offline business in. Insight on the factors that enable and discourage the SME to adopt e-commerce, which will provide in identifiable and measurable targets and issues for policymakers and researchers to conduct the future research. This result could enrich the understanding of SME owners about the potential benefits of the online business. This research has thrown up many questions is needed for future investigations. It is suggested the future study should be undertaken involving a larger sample throughout other states in the country to take into account the impact of e-commerce on small and medium-sized enterprise. Thank you so much.